In 2025, Africa faces a question no one dares to ask out loud: who really holds the military edge, Zambia or South Africa? On paper, South Africa boasts one of the continent's most advanced armies. But here's the hidden truth: Zambia's forces have been quietly expanding, modernizing, and preparing for a future no one is talking about. Could a smaller nation like Zambia actually challenge South Africa's long-standing dominance? Or is the gap far wider than officials admit? And with whispers of HH's leadership, Edgar Lungu's legacy in defense spending, and foreign influence from China and the US, the story goes far beyond just numbers. Stay with us, because this military showdown is about to expose secrets that will shock the entire region. Zambia and South Africa, two nations with very different military histories, but one big question: who really holds the power in 2025? In this video, we go beyond the headlines to uncover the hidden truths and military secrets behind both countries' defense strength. Does South Africa still dominate Africa's skies and seas? Has Zambia quietly built up a force far stronger than expected? And what role do Edgar Lungu's defense legacy, China, and the US play in shaping this power struggle? On InspirAfrica Official, we reveal the exposed details no one else will show you, from troop numbers and advanced weapons to secret global deals that could shift the balance of power. This is not just a comparison. It's a battle for dominance in southern Africa. The hidden arms race. It begins not with an explosion, but with silence. In 2025, while the world's eyes turned to bigger powers, two African nations, Zambia and South Africa, quietly escalated something no one expected: an arms race. Officially, the two are allies in trade, neighbors in diplomacy, even partners in regional peace. But beneath the surface, secret deals and military buildups tell a very different story. The warning signs were subtle: a sudden increase in Zambia's defense budget, South Africa's unexplained purchases of surveillance aircraft, rumors of nighttime drills along borders. Nothing announced publicly, but whispers began to spread. Who are they preparing to fight? For Zambia, the goal seemed clear: self-reliance. New drones, upgraded tanks, and special training programs suggested a shift away from dependence on foreign powers. For South Africa, it was about dominance. A military giant of the region could not afford to look weak. But here's the shocking part: both nations were watching each other. Leaked intelligence reports revealed that Zambia closely tracked South Africa's weapons tests, while South Africa's spy satellites monitored Zambian military bases. Each side claimed it was just precaution. But precaution in the wrong hands can become provocation. The pattern is hauntingly familiar. History shows us that empires rarely fall from outside attacks. They collapse under hidden rivalries within their own alliances. Think of Rome, one empire torn apart by mistrust and ambition. Today, some analysts warn Southern Africa could be heading down the same path. And yet, the truth remains hidden. Are Zambia and South Africa building weapons for protection or for each other? What no one wants to admit is that a silent competition is underway, one that could ignite into open confrontation if a single mistake is made. And this is only the beginning, because the real danger isn't just in weapons, it's in the places where those weapons might already be deployed. In the next episode, we uncover the silent border war, strange incidents denied by both governments that suggest this arms race is no longer just preparation, but action. The silent border war. It starts with denials. Both Lusaka and Pretoria insist there's no conflict between Zambia and South Africa. Officials smile at press briefings, shake hands at summits, and call each other partners. But on the ground, along remote stretches of land, and across secret flight paths, the story looks very different. The first reports came from truck drivers. They whispered about unmarked vehicles crossing at night, convoys with no license, plates moving deeper into border zones. Then came the villagers' accounts: strange sounds echoing through the bush, flashes of light in the sky, and helicopters flying with no national insignia. Officially, nothing happened. But unofficially, these were the opening skirmishes of what some now call the silent border war. Zambia has accused South Africa of deploying surveillance drones over its territory. South Africa, in turn, has accused Zambia of establishing hidden checkpoints that intercept its trade convoys. Both accusations were denied, yet satellite images leaked online revealed cleared-out zones along the frontier, freshly built structures that neither country admits to owning. What's fueling this shadow conflict? Some say it's about resources, rare minerals crucial for weapons and technology, much of which lies beneath Zambian soil. Others believe it's a test of influence. South Africa, the regional powerhouse, cannot allow its authority to be challenged, while Zambia, rising fast, refuses to bow down. But here's the chilling part. In these skirmishes, soldiers rarely wear uniforms. They move like ghosts, blending into villages, disguising themselves as traders or travelers. When shots are fired, no one claims responsibility. When blood is spilled, no official report is filed. It's a war that exists and does not exist. A conflict fought in shadows, where the first casualty is always the truth. And history warns us, this is how bigger wars begin, quietly, invisibly, with denials and cover-ups, until one incident spirals out of control. In the next episode, we step into the world few dare to discuss, the secret alliances, who's backing Zambia, who's backing South Africa, and why outside powers might be the ones truly pulling the strings. The secret alliances every great power struggle has hidden hands shaping the outcome. And in the case of Zambia versus South Africa, the question is not just who will fight, but who will back them. On the surface, Zambia looks isolated, a landlocked nation challenging a regional giant. But behind closed doors, whispers suggest that Lusaka is far from alone. Reports point to quiet deals with Eastern powers, who are hungry for Zambia's copper, cobalt, and lithium. These are the minerals of the future, essential for weapons, batteries, and global tech dominance. Supplying them gives Zambia leverage and allies. Meanwhile, South Africa isn't standing still. Pretoria still commands influence in global banking, in shipping routes, and in the UN's diplomatic corridors. Intelligence leaks suggest that South Africa has quietly leaned on Western partners, reminding them that instability in Pretoria could destabilize all of Southern Africa. That argument, for now, keeps the West firmly in South Africa's camp. But here's where it gets dangerous. A leaked memo from within Zambia's Ministry of Defense hinted at military training exchanges with a foreign power. Critics say this is code for something bigger, that soldiers are not just training, but preparing with new strategies, new weapons, and perhaps new instructions from abroad. On the other side, South African warships were spotted docking in foreign ports, not for trade, but for what experts suspect were arms negotiations. Pretoria insists it was all routine. But the timing, just as tensions with Zambia heat up, makes many doubt that story. So who really holds the power? The truth is chilling. It may not be Lusaka or Pretoria at all. It may be the silent allies, hidden in the shadows, who are steering both nations toward a confrontation that serves outside interests more than their own. And history has taught us, from the Roman Empire to the Cold War, that when small conflicts attract big sponsors, they no longer remain small. In the next episode, we expose the most mysterious piece of this puzzle, the disappearing generals, how top military leaders are vanishing without explanation, and why their silence could be the key to unlocking this entire secret war. The weapons they deny owning. Every government insists the same thing: we are only arming ourselves for defense. But when it comes to Zambia and South Africa in 2025, the truth is far murkier. Hidden deep in warehouses, remote hangars, and underground depots lies an arsenal that neither country publicly admits to owning. Weapons so advanced, so destabilizing, that even whispers about them send shivers through intelligence circles. It started with photographs, grainy, leaked images showing long-range drones parked on airstrips in Zambia's Copperbelt region. Officials brushed it off, claiming the images were doctored. But the metadata matched. The drones were real. The question was, where did they come from? Then came reports from South Africa. Dock workers in Durban described unloading containers marked as agricultural equipment. Yet the cargo was anything but farm machinery. Witnesses spoke of heavy armored vehicles, sealed under tarps, whisked away in convoys guarded by unmarked soldiers. Pretoria denied everything, but satellite images showed fresh tracks leading straight from Durban to classified bases. And here's the most chilling part. Independent analysts claim that both nations are experimenting with cyber weapons. Viruses designed to cripple power grids, communication lines, even financial systems. These aren't weapons of the battlefield. These are weapons of collapse, capable of bringing a nation to its knees without a single shot fired. Why deny them? Because admitting to such stockpiles would spark panic and possibly war. International watchdogs would demand answers, sanctions would follow, and the fragile balance of southern Africa would shatter overnight. But history warns us, hidden arsenals never stay hidden forever. From Rome's secret legions to Cold War nuclear silos, the denial is always the same. until the day they are unleashed. So the real question is not whether Zambia and South Africa possess these weapons. The real question is, who will use them first? In the next episode, we step into an even darker arena, the underground bases, facilities buried beneath mountains and deserts, where insiders claim the future of this secret war is already being built. The underground bases. If wars are fought in the open, then why are so many preparations happening underground? Satellite images from both Zambia and South Africa reveal something that officials refuse to explain. Vast construction sites in remote regions cut deep into mountains, deserts, and forests. Official records describe them as mining projects or infrastructure expansions. But the patterns and the secrecy tell a different story. In Zambia's Machinga Mountains, villagers reported hearing drilling sounds at night, followed by military trucks sealing off the roads. Workers were brought in, but no one ever saw them leave. Months later, the site vanished from public maps, erased as if it never existed. Was this a mine or an underground command center? In South Africa, similar reports surfaced near the Karoo Desert. Locals spoke of convoys carrying massive generators, steel reinforcements, and reinforced concrete. Witnesses described helicopters hovering over the area for weeks. Then silence. When investigators tried to approach, they were turned back by soldiers with no insignia. What is happening beneath the ground? Some believe these are weapons storage depots, hidden vaults where advanced drones, armored vehicles, or even missile systems are kept out of sight. Others argue they are safe bunkers designed to protect elites in case of total war or economic collapse. The most alarming theory, however, is that they are experimental labs where foreign powers and local militaries test technologies too dangerous to admit publicly. History echoes here. Rome built secret tunnels to move armies in silence. Cold War powers dug bunkers that could survive nuclear war. Now, in southern Africa, the shadows of those strategies seem to be returning. The underground bases raise a terrifying possibility that what we see above ground, the drills, the ceremonies, the speeches, is just theater. The real war preparations may already be hidden, waiting below. And when the time comes, those underground bases may decide which nation survives and which collapses. In the next episode, we confront the most explosive question yet, the mutiny within. Are soldiers in both armies beginning to question their leaders? And could betrayal from inside trigger the war faster than any outside enemy? The mutiny within. Every empire fears one thing more than its enemies: betrayal from within. In both Zambia and South Africa, intelligence leaks suggest that cracks are beginning to form inside the very armies meant to defend them. Soldiers are asking dangerous questions. Why are we preparing for war against neighbors? Who are we really serving? And most importantly, what are we dying for? In Zambia, anonymous voices from the barracks speak of frustration. Many soldiers, underpaid and overworked, believe they are being used as pawns in a political chess game. Rumors swirl that certain units have quietly refused orders to patrol disputed border zones under the cover of night. These refusals never reach the press, but insiders claim they've already happened. South Africa faces its own problem. Younger officers, trained abroad and exposed to global military standards, are clashing with older generals who cling to Cold War tactics. Tensions boiled over in one closed-door meeting, where sources say a senior officer walked out declaring, "This is not South Africa's war." Days later, he disappeared from public view. Could this be the beginning of mutiny? History shows us that mutiny is often the spark that ignites full-scale collapse. Roman legions once turned their swords against their own leaders. In colonial Africa, revolts within the barracks reshaped entire nations overnight. When loyalty breaks, governments fall faster than any enemy attack. But there's another danger here. What if these whispers of dissent are not natural but planted? Some analysts warn that foreign powers might be deliberately fueling divisions inside both armies, spreading doubt to weaken them from within. If true, then the mutiny is not just rebellion, it's strategy. And this brings us to the most dangerous moment of all, when soldiers no longer trust their commanders, and commanders no longer trust their soldiers. Because at that point, the war no longer needs to be declared. It will already have begun. In the next episode, we arrive at the final chapter, the day the sky went dark, the moment both nations fear, when secret preparations, hidden arsenals, and silent betrayals explode into open confrontation. The day the sky went dark. It begins not with a declaration, but with silence. On a clear morning in 2025, satellites recorded an anomaly over southern Africa. Air traffic halted, civilian communication lines flickered and died. In Lusaka, cell towers went dark. In Pretoria, radar stations scrambled with unexplained interference. For a brief, chilling moment, the sky itself seemed to vanish. This was not a natural disaster. It was the event analysts had warned about, the moment when years of hidden buildups, denied weapons, and shadow conflicts finally erupted into the open. Reports spoke of drones rising from underground hangars in Zambia, their wings slicing through the silence. In South Africa, anti-air systems lit up the night sky, intercepting targets that Pretoria insisted did not exist. Citizens were told to stay indoors, but by then, fear had already spread faster than bullets. The truth of what happened that day remains contested. Some claim it was only a military exercise gone wrong. Others insist it was the first strike of a war carefully planned, but never admitted. What cannot be denied is this: both nations exposed the weapons they had long denied owning. And the world watching from afar realized Southern Africa was no longer a quiet corner of the globe. But here's the question history will ask: who truly began it? Was it Zambia, pushing for self-reliance and protection of its minerals? Was it South Africa, determined to remain the regional superpower? Or was it neither, but the foreign powers who armed, trained, and whispered both sides into conflict for their own gain? In the end, the day the sky went dark was not about who fired the first shot. It was about the revelation that the war had been building all along, in the shadows, in the whispers, in the secrets buried beneath the ground. And just like Rome before it, history may one day write that the greatest threat was never from outside enemies, but from the hidden rivalries within. This is the story of Zambia and South Africa in 2025. A story not of neighbors, but of a silent empire war.